Good evening. Thanks for joining us for Chapter Book Storytime. I'm Miss Erin here at the Caribou Public Library. We are continuing to read Treasure Island by Robert Louis Stevenson, and we're in Chapter 15. So we're going to read 15 and 16 today. If you'll remember, in Chapter 14, Jim was fighting Israel Hands as he had boarded the Hispaniola, and he survived. Israel Hands did not. So we are in Chapter 15. We're going to see what happens next. Hope you guys enjoy it. Pieces of Eight is called. Remember the parrot that belongs to Long John Silver? I was now alone upon the ship. The sun was setting and the sails were flapping in the evening breeze. I pulled down as many sails as I could so that they would not tear in the wind. I had to leave them, or half of them, attached. I scurried down the cut anchor rope, softly dropped into the waist-deep water, and waded ashore. I looked back at the Hispaniola. There she lay on her side with her main sail trailing in the bay. But she was clear at last from pirates and ready for our own men to board and get to sea again. I couldn't wait to get to the stockade and boast of my tales. Gradually the night fell blacker. The stars were few and pale. The bright moon rose over Spyglass Hill and lit my way. I came to the fence and looked into the stockade. Not a soul stirred. All was quiet. I climbed over the fence and crawled toward the blockhouse. Then I heard a wonderful sound, the snoring of my friends. At the doorway, I stood up and slowly walked through the darkness. With a silent chuckle, I pictured my friends' faces when they would wake in the morning and find me there. My foot struck something. It was a sleeper's leg. He turned and groaned. And then, all of a sudden, a shriek broke forth out of the darkness. Pieces of eight, pieces of eight, pieces of eight, pieces of eight. Silver's green parrot, Captain Flint. I had no time to think. The sleepers awoke and sprang up. The voice of Silver cried, "Who goes?" I turned, ran against one person, turned again, and ran full into the arms of someone else. "Bring a torch, Dick," said Silver. One of the men left and returned with a lighted torch. The red glare lit up the blockhouse. There I saw 6 ill-looking pirates, and none of my friends. There sat the parrot on Long John's shoulder. There he is, a parrot over here, the torch lighting up the room. "So," said he, "here's Jim Hawkins, shiver me timbers. Dropped in like, eh? Quite a pleasant surprise for poor old John." I made no answer. My back was against the wall. I looked Silver in the face, trying to look brave. Silver sat down and filled his pipe. "I've always liked you, Jim, I have," he said. "You're the picture of my own self when I was young and handsome. I always wanted you to join us. Your friends think you've left them. Ungrateful scamp, was what the doctor said. They won't have you now. You'll have to join with Captain Silver." "You need an answer, then?" I asked with a trembling voice. My heart beat painfully in my chest. "Well, I have a right to know why you're here and where my friends are." One of the pirates growled and came at me, but Silver held him back and calmly said, "Yesterday morning, Mr. Hawkins, Dr. Livesey came to our camp with a flag of truce. Says he, 'Captain Silver, the ship's gone.' We looked out, and by thunder, the old ship was gone. 'Well,' says the doctor, 'let's bargain.' We bargained, him and I, and here we are. We have the blockhouse. As for your mates, they've gone off. I don't know where they are." He quietly smoked his pipe. "And now I am to choose," said I. "And now you are to choose," said Silver. Here we have a picture of Jim with his back against the wall. "Well," said I, "there's a thing or two I have to tell you. Here you are, ship lost, treasure lost, men lost. And if you want to know who did it, it was I. I was in the apple barrel the night we sighted land, and I heard you, John, and you, Dick Johnson, and Hans, who is now at the bottom of the sea, and told every word that you said. And as for the ship, it was I who cut her loose, and it was I who brought her where you'll never see her more, not one of you. The laugh's on my side. I no more fear you than I fear a fly. Kill me if you please, or spare me. But one thing I'll say, if you spare me, then we'll forget the past. When you fellows are in court for being pirates, I'll save you all if I can. It is for you to choose. I was out of breath. The men sat staring at me like sheep. Then one sprang at me with a knife. "Avast, Tom Morgan," said Silver. "Maybe you thought you was captain here. Cross me and you'll go to Davy Jones below to feed the fishes." Yikes. Here's the pirate that was coming at him with a knife. Morgan paused. The pirates murmured angrily. "I like that boy now," Silver went on. "He's more a man than any pair of rats of you in this here house. You'll not lay a hand on him." My heart was still going like a sledgehammer. Silver kept an eye on all the men, who went to the back of the room and talked in whispers. "Pipe up and let me hear you," snapped Silver. A yellow-eyed man spoke up. "Sir, this crew's dissatisfied. This crew has rights like other crews, and this crew wants to step outside for a council." One by one, the pirates saluted Silver and left the blockhouse. I was alone with Silver. "Now, look you here, Jim Hawkins," he said in a steady whisper. "I know the game is up, and that I'll have to join back with the squire. As for that council, why, they'll depose me of being captain, they will. They're fools and cowards, but I'll save your life from them, lad, if you save Long John from hanging after I join back with your men." "What I can do, that I'll do," I said. "It's a bargain," cried Long John. "Understand me, Jim. I know you've got that ship safe somewhere. How you done it, I don't know, but safe it is. And you and me, we might have done a powerful of good together." He paused and told me, "Tell me, Jim, why did that doctor give me the map?" My face went blank with surprise. I didn't know. There they are talking. Well, he did, though," said Silver. "And there's something fishy to that, Jim. There is." The door opened and 5 men came in. One man was pushed forward. "Step up, lad," cried Silver. "I won't eat you. Hand it over. I know the rules, I do." The young man passed something to Silver. "A black spot. I thought so," Silver said. "See what's wrote there," said George Merry, the man with the yellow eyes. "Then you can talk." "Thank you, George. Well, what is it anyway? Deposed. Is that it? Did you write it, George? You'll be voted captain next, I'm sure." "You're over now, Silver. You'll maybe step down off that barrel and help vote." "I'm still the captain till I've had my chance to talk," roared Silver. "After that, we'll see." Here's Silver holding the paper with the black spot. "You've made a hash of this cruise," snarled George Merry. "You let the enemy go for nothing. Then you wouldn't let us go at them as they left. There's this here boy." "Is that all?" asked Silver quietly. Then he raised his voice. "Look here, I'll answer to you. Who was it that elected me captain? All of you here. And if you had done like I said at first, we'd have that treasure in the ship too. I'm sick to speak of you, or to speak to you. I don't know why your mothers even let you come to sea." Silver was shouting by now. He wiped sweat from his brow. "So you don't like my bargain with the enemy, eh? You don't even know my bargain. The doctor has agreed to come tend to this ragged lot. You, George, you're feverish with malaria. Your eyes are the color of lemon peel. You there with your head broke? You'd be glad when the doctor comes. And this boy here? Why, shiver me timbers, isn't he a hostage? Kill that boy? Not me, mates. When the rescue ship comes, we'll be glad to have this here hostage. And now, as to why I made the bargain with the squire? Well, you came crawling on your knees to me to make it. You were so starved and sick. And there's more. I got this in the bargain." And he threw something down on the floor. It was the map. The pirates leapt upon that map like cats. They laughed and hooted and shouted, "Hooray for Silver! Barbecue for captain!" "George, I reckon you'll have to wait another turn, friend," said Silver. And that was the end of that awful night. Silver stayed as captain, and I stayed alive. All right, chapter 16. It's called The Doctor's Visit. Here's a picture of his doctor bag. We were awakened the next morning by a clear, hearty voice calling, "Ahoy! Here's the doctor." I ran to a loophole. Sure enough, it was the doctor. I felt ashamed to have him see me. "Top of the morning to you, sir," cried Silver. "George helped Dr. Livesey over. Your patients are happy to see you, doctor. And we've quite a surprise for you too, sir. We've a little stranger here. Hee hee. Slept right alongside of me, he did. Dr. Livesey was over the fence and had to come up to Silver. Not Jim? I heard him say. The very same Jim as ever was, said Silver. They came in. The doctor gave me a grim nod, but went straight to work with the sick man. He gave out medicine, changed bandages, and as if he were making a family visit. The fever, he said, came from sleeping in this horrid swamp. He finished his rounds and then spoke to Silver. Well, that's done for today. Now I wish to have a talk with that boy, please. There was an uproar from the men, but Silver silenced them. He spoke quietly with the doctor. Then he said to me, Hawkins, will you give me your word of honor not to slip your cable? I gave him my pledge not to run. Silver told the doctor to go on over the fence. He barked to the grumbling men to get ready for the treasure hunt. Then, slowly, Silver and I made our way down to the fence. Once out of earshot, Silver explained to the doctor that he was once again on their side. He told how he had saved my life and asked if the doctor and the squire would speak well of him if he went to trial for piracy. You'll forget the bad now, won't you, Doctor? Silver asked with sad, pleading eyes. Then he stepped back, sat upon a stump, and whistled as he watched us and the blockhouse. So, Jim, said the doctor sadly, here you are. How could you run off, with Captain Smollett ill? I will admit that I began to weep. Doctor, I said, you might spare me. I'm good as dead anyway. If they torture me... Jim, the doctor interrupted. Jim, I can't have this. Whip over and we'll run for it. I thought he wanted to escape with him over the stockade wall. Doctor, I said, I gave my word. You know right well you wouldn't break your word. Neither you, nor Squire, nor the captain. Nor will I. But, Doctor, you did not let me finish. If they torture me, I might let slip a word of where the ship is. For I got the ship. She lies in North Inlet. The ship, exclaimed the doctor. Quickly I described to him my adventures. After some silence, he said, At every step, it's you that saves our life. And do you suppose that we are going to let you lose yours? You overheard the plot. You found Ben Gunn. Oh, and speaking of Ben Gunn, seeing Silver walk over, he called out, Silver, Silver, I'll give you a piece of advice. Don't you be in any great hurry after that treasure. Why, sir, said Silver, I can only save my life and the boys by seeking for that treasure. Well, I'll not tell more, said the doctor, but I will say, Silver, if we both get off this island, I'll do my best to save you from being hung for piracy. Silver's face was radiant. You couldn't say more, sir, if you was my own brother. If you was my own mother, he cried. Hear well my advice, Silver. Keep the boy close, and when you need help, call out, Halloo! I'm off to find help now. Goodbye, Jim. Dr. Livesey shook hands with me through the fence, nodded to Silver, and set off at a brisk pace into the woods. Okay, here's a picture of them talking through the wall again. Jim, said Silver, when we were alone, I saved your life, you saved mine. I'll not forget it. I seen the doctor waving you to run for it, and I seen you say no. And now, Jim, we're to go in for this here treasure hunting, and I don't like it. You and me must stick close to save our necks. And that is all for chapter 16. I hope you guys have a good night, and we will see you tomorrow.